I'm no longer reading from the internet. I'm reading from my Holy Bible. Some Pharisees came to him, and to test him they asked, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any cause?" He answered, "Have you not read that the one who made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, 'For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh'? So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate." So I want to start today with this passage from the Gospel of St Matthew, chapter 19, verses 3 to 6, to speak about the wonderful sacrament of matrimony. I'm gonna split this content into three videos. The first one I'm gonna talk today is my own experience with the sacrament of the matrimony. The second one is the fruits that I was able to see in my own life after receiving the sacrament. And the third is gonna be the technical aspect of it, where I'm going to talk about actually the sacrament that I received, the matrimony. The wedding was celebrated in the extraordinary rite, the form in Latin. So I'm going to talk about that, not because I think I am better than others, not because I think my matrimony was wonderful and needs to be copied, but to influentiate those who didn't marry yet, for you also to get to know about this wonderful rite in the Catholic Church. Anyway, let me go straight to the content. So I have written a poem. I'm not going to be able to read here because it's in Portuguese, but I'm going to talk about what happened. So I wrote this in the 1st of January 2017. I was living in Belfast. I was talking to a girl that I met online for meeting to start the new year, having sex and committing sin. And thankfully, the providence has gave me the grace to skip the sin, not because I didn't want, but because she ended up having commitments and a lot of stuff happened, and I saw myself on the 1st of January absolutely, completely alone. And I wrote this poem talking about this emptiness, this loneliness, this feeling of being by myself. But I was not talking merely about being alone the 1st of January. I was talking about the experience of my own life, the feeling of being alone. I don't know if your temperament is also melancholic, but that's mine. And for a long time in my life, I felt alone. I didn't have much friends. I didn't have many people to talk to. My family was a bit difficult too. Also, I was not an easy child. I didn't become an easy teenager to deal with. But I always felt lonely until the day I received the sacrament of the matrimony. The last line in this poem I wrote says, "It's fullness that made me empty. Now is gonna be empty for me to be full." And though by the age of 15 I was baptized and I was participating in a charismatic group, Messias da Paz, though I was engaged in the church, I still felt lonely for a long time. When I was 20 years old, there was a retreat here in the city of Londrina called Deus Conosco, and in a moment of prayer, I felt that God was healing my soul, was taking a big burden of me to make me not feel lonely. I wrote a song in English called You're Not Alone. Actually, let me put this here instead of the Portuguese poem. So it goes like this. When you feel the loneliness in a dark time of your life and despair knocks your door, just trust, for you there is a God. You can feel near you, you're not alone. You can see with your own eyes, He is with you. There is no more reason to cry, to close down yourself. Open up your soul and receive His love. This will sustain you. You can feel near you, you're not alone. You can see with your own eyes, He is with you. Hold His hand and don't you care, He stands by you wherever you are. Look around and feel His presence. The Holy Spirit will bring the help. You can feel near you, you're not alone. You can see with your own eyes, He is with you. He heals your soul and gives you another heart. Don't you understand? Don't you think? Just live. This is your new life. You can feel near you, you're not alone. You can see with your own eyes, He is with you. And it ends up with this: God is with you, the Lord is with us. So I felt that I wasn't as lonely. I wasn't alone. I knew God was with me, but there was still something missing in my life, and was the big step I gave when I joined matrimony with Marita on the 8th of December in 2018. So the short story is, in March 2018, I came to Brazil to propose, and in November she went to Belfast. She moved to Belfast, and in December we got married in St Malachy's church. This was my parish, and the big moment for me, obviously, the sacrament is a wonderful and almost grace. It's a step in your spiritual life after you got stuck. So you received the sacrament, the baptism, the confirmation, the first communion, the penance, and then you in a sense get stuck in your spiritual life, if that is your vocation, obviously, to receive another sacrament. So in my case it was the matrimony, and myself and Marita, we went ahead not measuring consequences, but giving ourselves entirely to the will of God, and to assume this grace in our lives. Anyway, I received after the matrimony per se, I received Jesus in a holy mass that was celebrated along with it. And in the moment Jesus entered my heart through the Eucharist, I felt a big emotion. I had a big illumination, and I felt I was no longer lonely. That from that day forward, I was not going to be lonely again, because I was going to become one flesh with Marita. And that happened. And so it took 28 years. Obviously, when I was a child, I would not be thinking, oh my God, I'm lonely, I'm alone. But from from the time I remember, I was lonely. Excuse me. And that is the problem, having kids. You need to record at nighttime and feeling very sleepy. But anyway, I felt a voice when I received Jesus in Holy Communion. And he said, you are no longer going to feel lonely. And that's what happened. Thank God for the Sacrament of Matrimony. Thank God for the grace he gave to my soul, to my life, to change my history through uniting myself entirely and forever with my wife. Blessed be God. Thanks for watching. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about the fruits that I had the grace to experience through the sacrament of matrimony and with the presence of my wife in my life as well. God bless you.